Good evening. This is the Pulling Each Other Along show, coming to you from Corning, New York, but you're listening live in Milwaukee. I have Dave Clark here with me, and my name is Doug Cornfield. We have a special guest, special show, someone who we actually had a great event with this past weekend, Mr. Clark. And how you've been enjoying your visit to home and Corning, New York?
Well, it's always good to be here in Corning, my hometown. Doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm always a Corning boy. But you talk about the event last weekend in Rochester with our guest that's coming on to the show tonight. I thought it was a great event. First time I had ever had the opportunity to see the all terrain turf of
the Miracle Field.
The Miracle Field in Rochester. So really a great experience.
Right, and I'm sure they have something like this in Milwaukee, where they have a Miracle Field. But we're going to be talking to Ron Kampff, who spearheaded this. And these are big projects. These aren't small, little projects. But he's got a heart of gold. We've known Ron for about 4 or 5 years. He's actually, I don't know where my picture is for those. He's actually a Pulling Each Other Along award winner. We gave him the award for all of the great things that he's been doing in the Rochester, New York area, specifically for children and young adults with all different special needs. And what Dave and I got to do this past week is we got to give one of our Pulling Each Other Along awards to Linda Burke. She's done amazing things with her own child and helping out with their organization in Rochester and just being an inspiration to many. And so we're grateful that she was able to get the Pulling Each Other Along award, and we're very privileged that we were able to present that to her this past Saturday. Anyway, we are going to bring in, and no further ado, Mr. Ron. If you can center yourself up there for the YouTube and Facebook folks. How are you doing, Mr. Kampff?
I'm doing great. Loving life up here in the rainy Rochester.
Yeah, we've had our share of rain in Corning as well, and Dave and I are actually outside, so hopefully the noise and the background noise isn't too crazy. But due to certain circumstances, this is the best situation for us. Except the mosquitoes might very well.
They don't bother being all around.
No, but they like my blood because I got sweeter blood than Dave
Doug,
Clark.
So that's good.
So
that's good. But let me lead in, Doug. Ron, I had the pleasure and the privilege of attending the event that you held last weekend. So I'd like to tell the folks what that event was, what it entailed, and your thoughts on it.
Absolutely. You all set?
yeah, go ahead. He's asking you to do that, not himself.
Yeah. I'm asking you to give me a.
Yeah.
I was confused too, Ron. No worries.
It was like, okay, I'll let the big guy talk. I don't mind. My wife always says I talk too much. So, about 4 weeks ago, I got to thinking we have Miracle Field up here. We've been playing all summer, Challenger baseball every Saturday, Tuesday nights. So we've got about 100 plus kids. I call them kids, ages 4 to 50. And I wanted to do something special, especially with everything that's been going on in the world. I wanted to do something to just kind of show that these kids are heroes, and we have heroes in our community. So I got thinking, hey, let's call it Heroes Helping Heroes. So a few of us put this event together. We had a lot of interest from local police and fire and first responders to come out, be buddies to the players, help them out on the field, and showcase the kids. I mean, this is what it's all about. We ended up getting food trucks. We had the mounted patrol and police car there, and some games for dunk tank and everything else, and it kind of all fell into place. And people would they're always asking me, are you nervous about this? I said, these kids will come. They want to play. We'll have an audience. And sure enough, they all came and they loved it. And to have Dave Clark and Doug show up and talk and tell their story, it just embraced the whole concept of what Miracle Field is all about and showcased the whole day in a nutshell. So I had fun, and I don't think anybody would disagree. The national anthem was sang by a
Yeah, that was great.
Ron, that's what I was going to bring up next. You had a special guy sing. That was the highlight for me personally, is hearing that national anthem be sung.
I was just at the field last night because we have the older adults that play, and the woman that runs the concession stand came up to me. She goes, "I was crying." I said, "Really?" And she said, "The national anthem and your story." She said that story was just so compelling. And I said, "Hey, I mean, I can talk all day long, but when somebody like you guys and the kids are out on the field playing, that's what people see, and that's what makes it so cool about this whole thing." So yeah, it was a great time. That boy is he started for me back when he was 5 years old. He's now going to have his 21st birthday, believe it or not, and he can sing. He's autistic, but man, I'll tell you, I can't remember the words to one song, and their pressure's on. My biggest fear is the person that's going to sing the national anthem didn't show up. I'm like, don't look at me. It ain't happening. Plus, you don't want to hear my voice. So yeah, it was a great. I'm so grateful you guys could make it up. So
No, it was a privilege,
Yeah.
and it was great that you guys sponsored for these families to be able to receive a pound of kindness. And so Dave and I were able to sign a whole bunch of pound of kindness books and give those away to the families. And and it's a privilege to be able to share that story and give away the Pulling Each Other Along award. And it's just these are the great and fun things that Dave and I and you get to do, because we have a passion to give away these events and to let children, young adults, to participate and to find out what their successes can be, and not focus on their disabilities.
absolutely. And
So how did you get started in all this? That's one big question I want to know. You don't really, as far as I know, you don't have a child or a situation of somebody with a disability. Did you grow up with somebody with a disability?
I don't have anybody in my family with a disability. I can tell this story. I've told it a few times. When I was in grade school, a long time ago, there was a room down the hall, and I don't know, it resonated with me. They were, and I'm not going to use the word because I can't stand the word, the R word. That
Right.
referred to as the R room. And they used to ride their tricycles, and they were all different ages. I was probably second, third, fourth grade, and these kids were probably older. Used to ride up and down, and they were just in the hall, done in the room. You didn't see them. It was like you were segregated. They were like looked down upon, I guess. Somehow that always clicked in my mind. So fast forward, as I became a young adult, my dad was in Little League for over 50 years, and he went to Williamsport every year, and we used to drive through Painted Post and Corning on the way to Williamsport every year. Anyways, one year I think he came back. He had saw a presentation about Challenger baseball that Little League was going to try to do. I believe that was 1988, 89. And I'm older, I'm married, and I'm only worrying about myself. To be honest with you, I was pretty selfish, like most are when we're young. I had a family of my own. My kids were young. I'm playing baseball, and all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, you know what? There's not a program in my town, Webster. There's a program in the neighboring town where a lot of these kids play ball. So it kind of came to me like, I think I can do something here in Webster. So Linda Burke, who got the Pulling Each Other Along award, had been running soccer and football and basketball. And so I met with her and a couple other adults with kids with disabilities, and thought maybe I can pull this off. I don't know how I'm going to get the players, but I think I can figure it out with the help of others. And we had 30 players back in 2001, 21 years ago. There, and it was kind of like, I'm going to try it and see. I'll do it and see what happens. And I just talk about tears. The very first game, I had tears running down my face. I mean, glassy eyed. My dad was there, and he's a tough Marine guy. He was on Iwo Jima, but I could look over and he wasn't right on the field, but he was in the stands, and he was like teary eyed. And it's like, man, I guess if he's gonna get teary eyed, I guess I can cry a little bit. So, and the parents were so thankful. We played 4 games that year. Pizza in the dugout. I got trophies. I said, well, I guess I'm going to do this again next year. And it grew. And it just kept growing and growing. And until we, consistently now we're upwards of over 100 players. And, we do other things too. But it's just, I guess I was missing something in my life, to be honest with you. And when you're having a bad day, and you guys know this, if you're having a bad day, take a look at kids playing ball on the field that don't have don't normally get that chance. They're all smiles. They're happy. We're the ones that need a little, little help once in a while, and they pull us along. If I about an award, it would be to all the baseball kids, the Challenger players.
No, there's a lot of truth to that. One of the pictures that I pulled off of the Greater Rochester Miracle Field website was this picture, and these are the pictures that say it all.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who this little boy is. You probably do, since it was on your website. The only problem is he has a Yankee hat on, but
I just had a talk last night, because we've had different major league teams throughout the 21 years. I've always had the Yankees because I had a very diehard Yankee fan give me decent backing.
I got you.
I'll do it. I'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah, well, it's about business sometimes, right, Ron?
Last night, though, I said, I bet some of these players I bet you some have like 10, 15 Yankee jerseys. So maybe next year we'll mix it up a little bit and try something new.
Gotcha.
By the way, I will say, I don't know if you noticed, Dave, we had some of the Orioles out there.
I did. Yeah. It was front and center, man.
And
I saw that. I said that's great. So
we had to make some preseason trades because I had to balance the teams out. So everybody wants to be on the Yankees, but I convinced some of the players that go, the bright orange is really cool looking. Why don't we go with that? Oh, okay, sure. Well, I got to tell you, the Yankees last night won 27-9. But you know what? That's not the real Yankees, so we know how they're doing. And they got clobbered today, by the way.
Right. And so a couple of years ago, you decided to raise a whole bunch of money for this Miracle Field, and it's beautiful. It's a great facility. It's clean. It's easy to get to. What was that like? And how was the response? And I think you were pulling teeth in some cases to get people involved, but
got my hair, I don't know, but it's a lot grayer.
It's a lot grayer now.
You still got it, Ron.
It was brought to me, the whole concept of Miracle Field and building a field for them goes back to our treasurer, who called me up and he wanted to know if I had any kids or children with disabilities. And I said, no. He goes, why do you do it? I said, I do it for selfish reasons. I do it because they help me. They help me get through life with my problems, and I just enjoy it. But he said, let's do something for him. Let's see what we can do. Well, the power of the internet. We came up and we saw Miracle Field. I go, oh, how much is this going to cost? I was just thinking of throwing some bases down on a ball field and calling it, hey, here, kids, here's a field. So anyways, I looked at it, it said about $400,000 to build a field. Well, I don't know, that was like $400,000. I'm not used to raising money, and we had some meetings and it kind of evolved. But I walked around with an envelope, and I'd see people I know. Hey, I've got this idea. Would you be willing to give me $1? And it's like, sure. I had one guy at Wegmans parking lot empty his whole wallet. So this sounds great. So that's kind of how it started. And I thought, we'll get a grant writer and it'll be so easy. We'll just get a grant writer. I knew nothing about this. We got a grant writer. I'm like, okay, but let the money come, let it come, you know. And that's not how it works, and you guys know how that is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
Certainly do.
doesn't fall off of trees. I've had the, you know, with the help of many people, one of our good friends that's been involved with Challenger baseball for years. There's a lot of low hanging fruit out there. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm only 5'9" now, and it wasn't as low as I thought. So
Yeah. Well, you know, I run into this all the time. People saying, "Oh, you should do this with D3 and Disability Dream and Do, and you should do this." And you know, and of course, I've already tried half of those things, or actually 99% of them, and they don't realize how many brick walls you have to hit before you find somebody that actually is going to help you. And
yeah, and I'll tell you, there were a lot of brick walls. I'll tell you, this is just one of many stories. I was actually at my doctor's office, and she seemed a little stressed. Oh yeah, we've got about $35,000. We only need about $1 million more. I mean, how would you feel? And my treasurer said, I'm not writing refund checks. You know, I'm like, oh, don't say that. I don't know what we're gonna do. So she said, I think I got some people that could help you. So she, you know, the networking, you know how that works. And,
yeah.
So I met with a couple of her patients, I guess, and had one guy that's very well to do in the Rochester area, and I pull up in the parking lot. And I'm like, all right, I got basically all I had was a couple pictures, a price of what things were going to cost. And he more or less looked at me and he said, "You don't know what you're doing." Made me feel real good.
Yeah.
And I said, "You're right. That's why I'm here." So he actually gave me some advice, but I was so upset that when I left there, I didn't realize this, but about 2 days later, I get the mail. I went through a red light on the way home from there. I didn't know. They had the camera. I open up. I think it's my son. I go, he did it. He went through a red light. I'm looking. That's my truck. Where was this? Oh my God! It was on Lexington, and oh boy, that's when I left his office. And I guess I was. And I went back to him a year later, and he had a check in his hand because he did say he was impressed with what we did, and we got a pretty good sized check. And I said, "Can you give me $50?" And he's like, "For what?" I go, "I had to pay a red light ticket." I didn't get the $50, but he actually shook our hands. I was with our treasurer Don, and shook our hands and said, "You know what? If everybody would do what you did, there'd be a lot more success out there." And but he's a gruff old guy in his mid-70s, very successful businessman, and he was tough, but learned the lesson early, and it carried over. And just persistence, just keep going, plugging away.
Yeah.
A dollar here, a dollar there. So
Well, I want to remind everybody that we are on the 104.1 River West Radio, and this is Ron Kampff. He's the co-founder of the Rochester Miracle League in Rochester, New York, and we are live in Milwaukee, and we are on the Pulling Each Other Along show with Dave Clark and Doug Cornfield. And Ron, a big question we always like to ask, we've got the Pulling Each Other Along book now just about ready to get printed, and we're on the last phases of all of that. You're a Pulling Each Other Along award winner, but what's that one person, thing, or belief or something that pulled you along on your journey here?
Well, I don't know if it started way back, and I'm going to have to say there are many people that pulled me along, but one of them who it was my father. My father did not sit me down and tell me I had to, I guess I learned by example because he spent 50 years in Little League, and he always said it's all about having fun. Baseball is all about having fun, and he never put pressure on me when I was a little leaguer or when I played in high school ball. He was always just relax, have fun. I put the pressure on myself, and it just it kind of stuck with me. I mean, I'd go, and I see it all the time. But I'd go for 4, and he'd say, "Hey, you got another game." I'd get all upset at myself, and I see so many parents now, and fathers, when their kid doesn't do well on the field, it's more about the father than it is about the kid. And my father kind of taught me that and taught me to give back. I watched him. He didn't, like I said, he didn't have to tell me what to do. I just kind of, as time went on, and you get to have your kids and you're an adult and you see what your dad did. And, he lived at the ball field, would go around and do things for kids. In fact, I just ran into a guy that I played Little League with, and he said, "I'll never forget what your father did when my dad passed away back in 1960, I think it was 67 or 68. He came over to my house. He said, 'You're never going to pay a penny to play baseball. I'll take care of it.'" And this guy's my age, and he's like, "I'll never forget that, Ron. I remember like it was yesterday. I was he's only probably 8 or 9 years old. And it just stuck with him. And I hear things people tell me that as adults, remembering my father. So I guess he pulled me along. He didn't know it because we butted heads all the time, like most fathers and sons. That was black. I said, no, that's white. That type of thing. And as we got older, and as I got older and a little more mature, I guess, or whatever the word is, I realized that. He did it. He was the one that kind of pulled me along. So
Gotcha. Good
and
stuff.
in fact, the year I got the Pulling Along Award, I believe it was July 30th of 2016. My dad had passed July 28th of 2016, so it was pretty emotional when I did. That was a total surprise, by the way. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's you and Dave on the screen for those that are watching on YouTube and Facebook. We have a picture of Ron and Dave. I believe it was on that day that you got the award. I see you're holding one of Dave's books, A Diamond in the Rough, in that particular picture. Hopefully you didn't read that. But, there's, yeah. Yeah. So we promote that by telling people not to read it.
Working on the big words in A Pound of Kindness, okay?
All right. Well, the Pound of Kindness you can read and reread, and I encourage everyone to get A Pound of Kindness. Go to, that's just a wonderful book to have, and we're grateful that you see the I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but the goodness of giving that book away to your people, and us being able to share that story, because we know that story touches people. I mean, it's not rocket science. Dave still can't tell the story and talk about it on stage without tears coming to his eyes often, and he lived it.
I got to tell you, last night, the older adults play, and the woman that runs the concession stand was there Saturday, and I just walked in to, say hi, and it's not raining, we're going to play. And she said, "Oh, Saturday, I had tears in my eyes." And I said, "Really?" And she said, "Just that, your story." And I said, "You have a granddaughter, right?" She said, "Yeah." I go, "Did you get a book?" And she goes, "No." I went in the storage room. I said, "Here you go." And she goes, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I love this story." So and we have some copies left over, and they will definitely they'll be given away. We have many events throughout the season and year, and so that they'll go a long way. So
right. No, that's it's pretty special, and obviously, again, a privilege for Dave and I to come up and give Linda. Where's a picture of Linda? To give Linda the award. No, not that one. There you are. That's another good picture for those that are watching. And actually, I had this picture of you because you look pretty comfortable there, talking about the Miracle League. Was this during the fundraising time? You on the news?
But I think we're, I'm looking in the background. I don't know if I think we're pretty close to opening the field. So yeah, relaxed.
So you were further along, and so there's Linda, and and she was obviously in your mind a huge deserving candidate for the Pulling Each Other Along award. And one of the things that Dave and I love about giving that award away is that we give it to unsung heroes, and she definitely fell into the category of being an unsung hero.
Absolutely.
So we got about 5 more minutes left of the live portion on the 104.1 River West Radio. This is Doug Cornfield and Dave Clark, along with Ron Kampff, the director, co-founder really the guts of behind the Miracle League. And you know, in the last 5 minutes, we have to ask a question, and I'm surprised unless he already has. Tom Demolakis, yep, there it is. He just did it. He said, "Don't forget the donut question."
See that?
So, since you've never watched our show before, Ron, as we
I
found out in pre and
go.
watched or heard,
I don't get in the beginning. But
there you go. So, we're going to ask you our donut question, and that is a simple thing: is what is Ron Kampff's favorite donut?
Jelly filled.
Geez, that was easy.
That was easy. What type of jelly, Ron?
I actually like the like raspberry type.
Oh wow, you're right with me. You're
There
right
you
with
go.
me.
And I want, obviously sugar on the outside, and powdered sugar. Some of them you bite into, you think you're getting a jelly donut, and it's nothing worse than getting that cream.
Right.
Ugh.
Well, if we just found out, we booked an event that we're going to do on August 29th in Hickory, North Carolina. And we're going to do an event called Donuts with Dave Clark. And we're inviting people, and I guess we're going to get Dunkin' Donuts. We're going to get some local donuts. We're going to get Krispy Kreme donuts. And people are going to come and have donuts with Dave Clark. Now Tom's going to want to drive down there to Hickory, North Carolina to get some donuts. But that's coming up in Hickory, North Carolina. And one other thing too, Ron, and just to make sure our viewership knows, Dave is in town in Corning, New York, because we have our Disability Dream and Do, our local Disability Dream and Do camp moved up from September, and we're having that this Saturday. Registrations are still open, and you can also volunteer. But Ron, you can, I know some of your people are getting the messages through email that this is available to them, but it's also something there, if last minute somebody wants to come down. I don't know if you have an event yourself on Saturday, but
Two younger teams are two of four younger teams playing Saturday mornings. It's our last Saturday. The older group plays Tuesday nights. If they, who knows? Some of and what I've learned is a lot of these a lot of parents they'll drive whatever it takes for their
I
kids.
think we've had some sign up because we haven't been able to do the Rochester event, which we, obviously we've talked about, and we want to make that happen again. We did Rochester for 5 years in a row, and I know the folks loved Dave, and then Dave Stevens coming and doing our style of Disability Dream and Do, and let's bring that back to Rochester. And I think you're on board with that. It's just with this whole COVID thing and everything else that's happened.
Yep.
We're still taking baby steps to get ourselves back and in order. So with 1 minute, what would you like to tell Milwaukee other than it's raining a lot in upstate New York?
I would just say that check out any program for kids, whether it's baseball or any sport or program that would help kids and adults with I shouldn't say disabilities. I really don't like that word. I usually say different abilities. If there's some place in town where you can volunteer, do so, because you'll get more out of it than they will. Trust me on that one.
Right. And that's what we tell often when you see the kids in action like this one here. And you get to see stuff like that all day long. It does definitely mean more to the players, the volunteers, the families, the caregivers, even though those kids have a huge amount of fun at your Miracle League, at our Disability Dream and Do camps. And so if you get a chance in Milwaukee and you can support something like this, please do. Thanks for joining us again for the Pulling Each Other Along show. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, Ron, thank you. Now we got our after show. And I wanted to ask you a question in the after show of who is your favorite professional baseball player?
I'm gonna, as a kid growing up, and it was Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench. Dave, you've met Johnny Bench,
I have
right?
met Johnny, yeah.
Well, tonight that just might have been the wrong answer.
Oh,
You know, because I don't know about you, but I think this guy he destroys Johnny Bench, at least in my mind.
Hey,
And
What's
we
up,
have
Ron?
brought onto the show for the Pulling Each Other Along show. We have brought in, actually just had his major league debut. What, a week or two ago?
Yeah, about 2 weeks. Yeah.
About 2 weeks ago. And you got to be riding high about something else we'll talk about here in a minute. But we have Jake Reed, who is a part of now the Los Angeles Dodgers organization. And,
Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays.
You're in the Tampa Bay? I thought you were with the Dodgers.
no,
I was.
Oh,
I
man,
was
I'm out of it because the last
That's
time I
all right.
saw you were the Dodgers.
That's all right.
Are you in Durham?
What's this?
Jake?
Yes, I'm in Durham. We're actually in
Okay.
Norfolk right now. So I was with the Dodgers, got called up, and they DFA'd me a week ago today, and then the Rays claimed me off of waivers on Sunday, and then optioned me to Durham. So I'm in
Gotcha.
AAA now with the Rays.
So you're playing in Norfolk now.
Yes.
You're playing against one of my good buddies, Gary Kendall.
Okay. Nice.
Gary's with the Orioles.
Norfolk,
Yeah.
Okay.
So go say hi. He'll know.
Say hi, Ron.
Okay. I will.
He's the manager there, so he's the field manager
Right.
for the AAA team there.
So Ron, say hi to Jake.
I'm saying hi, but you guys are talking too much.
There you go.
Oh, Jake, I tell you, I watched every softball game.
Oh, nice.
Why would you care?
Huh? I don't know.
There you go. Why don't you tell us some exciting news that happened, Jake?
Yeah. So while I was debuting with the Dodgers, my wife was over in Tokyo playing for Team USA softball, playing left field for the softball team, and they played well. They came up a game short and ended up winning a silver medal. But I'm really proud of her and the rest of her teammates for just getting it done over there. It's pretty awesome.
No, I was watching quite a bit of it. I actually watched that last game, and she had 2 hits in the last game, right? And
yeah, she had a good game, a couple hits and a good catch, and it was fun to watch.
Actually, she had not just a good catch. You know,
pretty good catch, really good catch.
That was an outstanding catch.
Yeah.
That was a really, really great catch, and she had a great game. Unfortunately, just some misfortune things, and that happens in sports. And
oh yeah,
one little even she was out in the first inning at home, and so
yep.
And that was one of those things, you got to do it. And the ball bounced the right way for Japan, and they took advantage of it. They don't make mistakes, and I don't know if they had the home field wizards in the outfield for Japan, but it seemed like it that day.
Hey, Ron, go tell the viewers your connection with Jake and what he's meant to you guys.
Well, I met Jake. They do the Challenger World Series every year. So my first impression with Jake was he was, I can tell you, right, he was on the right field line. And Jake, I don't know if you remember Mike,
oh yeah,
who raced him.
Oh yeah, he took some cleats from me.
He did, and I story the other night because he still plays every Tuesday night, but you gave him to him. I don't think he took him.
Well, he took him because he beat me, so I owed him to him, I guess.
Oh, I see. I thought it was out of the kindness of your heart that you gave him to him.
No, I told him. I'm not that nice of a guy.
Everything back. Johnny Bench is okay to be your favorite player.
Anyways, however he got them. We were, I don't know what size shoe you wear, but he didn't have that big a foot. And we were playing, I don't know, Saturday or so after that. And he's walking the field, and I'm like, why is he looking so funny? And he's got metal spikes on. You can't wear, Jake Reed gave me these. I'm like, you can't, you're going to step on somebody. And he reluctantly took them off, but he wasn't happy. And I said, you can save them. They're a souvenir, whatever. But yeah, I was like, no, it's all I need is for some kid to get stepped on or whatever.
Yeah.
But he still got it. I saw him last night and we were talking about it. So.
Oh, good.
Right. So.
Oh.
What's that?
I said, you don't miss Rochester as much as San Diego. I know that.
I do. I mean, I love San Diego, obviously, but I'd miss. I miss Rochester. I miss. I miss my friends. I miss the people there. I was there for a while, and I just because I played there for so long. Obviously, I wish I would have been up in the big leagues with the Twins. But when you're in a city for so long, you get to know some people, like Ron, and I made a lot of friends there in the Challenger League, and a lot of kids that I still keep in touch with, and kids are messaging me on Facebook still, and adding me on Facebook, and so. Yeah, I miss it a ton, and I just miss that. Like during the baseball season, we just get caught up in our schedule and the day-to-day life and the pressure of everything, and getting to go and do that, once a week was the best part of the season, and so I miss that. And so if you guys can point me in any direction of where I could maybe find that again wherever I'm at, that would be awesome.
Well, we're going to be in Hickory, North Carolina, but that's with the AA team.
Okay.
Single A. Yeah, they're the advanced day right now with the Texas Rangers, though. But that's August 28th, and you'll probably still be playing yourself during those days.
Hey, Jake, if you would, because I know you and I met several years ago, but what I find is when you participate in a program like Ron's or a camp like ours, kind of puts it in perspective for you, and it gives you a reboot. And as Ron mentioned earlier in the show, it really, we talk about pulling each other along. They're pulling us along.
Yeah.
It really does. So if you could just, because both you and I know what the professional locker room is. You got a lot farther than I ever did, but it's a situation just like you said, where every day you're worried about doing what you got to do, and you're caught up in the day-to-day schedule, and it's refreshing and refreshing and perspective changing to take part in something like this.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I think there's like an idea that when we are out there volunteering or helping out, that we're serving in a way, and we are, and you guys do, I mean, the best work, and you guys know I have a ton of respect for you, but you said it perfectly, that it really is them pulling me along, and them serving me, because and not that I'm using them for that, but it's just what happens, because you are experiencing joy in its most pure form. You're experiencing the game in the way that it was created to be played. And I think we get caught up, especially, in professional baseball, and in it being a business and a job and work. And it is that in a sense, but my college coach always used to say, before the game, they say play ball, they don't say work ball. And so getting to see that, to be a part of it, and then experience it at the camps, and at the field, at the Challenger Field every Saturday, you're seeing the game in the most joyful and just perfect way. And you're right, it energizes you. It puts things into perspective, and it's so cool getting to take other teammates out there for the first time, because you get some guys that might be scuffling and struggling a little bit and having a rough month. And then you take them out to the Challenger Field, or you take them out to, the D3 camps, and it just opens their eyes. It puts things into perspective, like you said, Dave, and it makes us understand how lucky we are to just not only play baseball, but just to do the things that we get to do on, every day, and things that we take for granted and complain about. And man, it was such a blessing to be able to be a part of that in Rochester for a few years.
Well, I know from my perspective, Jake, we appreciate it, and I specifically appreciated you, because you were kind of my ringleader at the AAA level, where it was a little more difficult for us to get players to participate. And you were a constant for at least a couple of years, and we had a couple of guys before you that were also consistent with the Rochester team, and But you kind of took that bull by the horns, and then you would meet with me in Florida. We would discuss things, and actually, there you are with Dave and I at Hammond Stadium with my children's book in hand. So hopefully you read that every day, and hopefully you'll have 10 kids to to read that book too.
I don't think you want that many, Jake.
Yeah. So that's so I appreciate you pulling us along in our organization. And I hope 15, 20 years from now, when your career is over, that you're able to rekindle that, and we stay in connection. And one thing that I hope too as well, is your wife back yet? Is she back in the States, or?
They're going on just like a 4-day vacation to Hawaii on their way back, and then she'll come and join me wherever I'm at for a week or so, and kind of be bouncing around for a little while. So, yeah.
And where do you guys live now? You in California?
Yeah, San Diego.
So are you going to be in San Diego September 28th?
No, hopefully he's in Tampa Bay.
Or Tampa Bay? Or no, September 28th. You still?
Still
I guess the game's still playing. I guess you could get called up. Yeah.
Well, the minor league season got stretched through September as well. So the minor league season ends October 2nd or 3rd or something like that. So we'll still be playing.
Right. So hopefully you get called. How are you throwing right now?
Throwing well. Yeah, it's been a good couple months. I had a really good couple months with the Dodgers. Was in AAA for 5 weeks and then got called up. Was up there for a couple weeks and then got DFA'd. Now I'm here. Pitched last night. Pitched well, and then hopefully at some point maybe get back up with the Rays. But you just never know.
Yeah, you just never know, especially in that world. It's pretty competitive.
Yep.
To say the least.
Sure.
Go ahead, Ron.
Anthony, your buddy Anthony that hit a home run off of you, I don't know if he's still in touch with you, but his birthday's coming up, and I had to send some emails out, and I said to Mom, I said, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Jake is with the Rays. Or he goes, are you kidding? Oh my God, I didn't know that. I just got a Dodgers uniform for Anthony's birthday. Said,
oh no.
It doesn't matter. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I talked to Anthony. We talked quite a bit. He's probably had to switch gear a couple times this year because I started the year with the Angels and he had some Angel stuff and then to the Dodgers, and apparently now he's getting some Dodger stuff, and so now we may have to get him some Rays stuff. And
by the way, Dave and Doug, Anthony was the one who sang the national anthem.
Okay. Great
Nice.
job.
And he got to meet Tim Tebow.
Right.
There you go.
Tebow. So.
Yeah, we actually had Tim at our camp just a couple of years ago, participate when he was a AA Met.
Nice.
So of course that was, and he was extremely gracious. Of course, almost everybody wanted to get pictures with Tim Tebow, and but he did the drills, and I'm sure at least in his contract he didn't have to be there, but I'm sure he was very good.
They have to be there. It kind of takes away a lot of it, if you ask me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You want them to be there on their own.
Yeah, we have some cool stories about that where, some of the coaches do require it because it gets the whole team there, and it's just they do it as a team. So it's a team event. And then you get that, but usually the starting pitcher and somebody injured doesn't have to show up. But we even have it where the starting pitchers want to show up sometimes because they want to be a part of the event, even though they're pitching later that day. So those are the special things that we know the camp has a nice impact. So, Jake, I appreciate you coming. Somebody's saying hello to us, but I'm not sure who it is. So we'll get their name later. But I'd love to I know we talked about a year ago when Dave and I were talking about doing this show. I called you up and said, hey, can you get on the show? And you said yes, but then we didn't start the show probably for another, 4 or 5 months. We didn't get it all put together, but we'd love to get you and your wife if that's possible. I don't know how your schedules would align, and you guys are both traveling, but it doesn't have to be now, but down the road, because I'd love to find out what pulls you along in your life. Even though this show, I told Ron, we were going to make the show all about him, but I had you waiting in the background. So
Apologize, Jake, but I did like Johnny Bench. I mean,
Yeah, I don't blame you.
it was kind of a surprise, you know. He kind of, you know, he could have gave me a little warning, Doug. You know.
no warning, no warning. It wasn't like we had Rocky Blyer. We had Rocky Blyer, and Jake, do you know who Rocky Blyer is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you can tell how young you are. That would, for us, that would almost be like not knowing, not Michael Jordan, but I don't know, somebody big. There was a movie made about Rocky Blyer in 1980. That's how big Rocky Blyer was.
Yeah, well, Jake,
Okay.
around,
But you weren't even around or a thought in
so,
1980.
Nope.
So, but we had Rocky Blyer surprise one of our guests who is a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and Rocky was a part of the 4 Super Bowls in the 70s and teammates with Terry Bradshaw, which I'm sure you knew who Terry Bradshaw is, right, Jay? There you go.
Yes.
How about Billy Buckner?
You're on board now, Jake.
Yeah.
Bill Buckner?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Because Dave tells Bill Buckner's story in the locker room some, and then he started realizing half these young guys, you know, that are at the single A level, they don't even know who Bill Buckner is, and so we have to, you have to educate. But
Yep.
it'd be like for me, I don't know any NBAers, and pretty much even in Major League Baseball, I don't know you unless I know you.
Sure.
You know, the guys that we actually interact with. So
Yeah.
it's been fun. Ron, any last parting words for the Pulling Each Other Along show tonight?
No, I had a great time. I appreciate it. You know, I mean, I know I was, you know, not your planned guest, so I guess I'll take second. You said last resort. You said no, second resort.
No, you were my planned guest. I just had a possibility of getting.
Come on, don't bullshit. Don't bullshit. Come on.
No, you were my planned guest. We knew we were going to have you. No, I have a young gentleman I'm going to try to get on the show in the future that's just got a beautiful story. But he's literally leaving for the Olympics today, finding out he qualified for Guatemala, and he's going to be running a race, I think, on Tuesday in the 5,000 meters. So it's a personal connection to me, my son, and it's a great story. So we're going to be cheering him on and getting him on the show, hopefully in the future.
Hey, Ron, before we let you go, thank you again for inviting Doug and I to take part in your event last week in Rochester. We really
Made the day.
my kind of event, and it was great.
Good. I appreciate
And we appreciate so much what you do. You inspire a lot of families, and keep it up.
Thank
Keep it
you.
up.
And Jake, when you get to Tampa, I'll come up and see you. Once you
Sounds
get to
good.
Tampa.
Yeah,
I'll be waiting. I'll have a couple tickets for you.
There you go.
there we go. I'll come down if we get that. I'll be. I'd love to see you in Tampa. So
Well, I'll be there whether you get tickets for me or not.
yeah,
So,
there you go.
Sounds
Anyway.
good.
All right, guys. Hey, say goodbye to the fans that are still listening and to fans that rewatch the show. But this has been the Pulling Each Other Along show with special guest Ron Kampff and surprise guest Jake Reed, professional baseball player, and Ron's definitely favorite baseball professional player. There you go.
I do.
All right.
I have a look at every box score when you're playing, and I'm trying to find. I do find you. So.
All right. Good.
But
All right. Good night, fans, and we'll see you later.